Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the studentloanjustice.org live stream for Monday, June 20th. And let me just change that for you. Hope everybody is doing well out there in the world. This is a very important week for us, guys, because we are hitting the Senate very hard to push through S-2598. It's very important that this bill passes, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the group, welcome. If you're not new to the group, you will have heard me say before, no one wants to file for bankruptcy, guys, but we've got to have the threat of bankruptcy back on our side in order for Joe Biden in the current politics to cancel any kind of meaningful sorts of student loans. In other words, we are not going to see any meaningful student loan cancellation from Joe Biden unless and until we get the threat of bankruptcy back on our side. It's the most important policy point that I will make. So our bill, S-2598, it becomes the key to everything. Whether you want your loans canceled, whether you want some kind of a break on interest or some middle negotiated settlement, or whether you need to file for bankruptcy, whatever your situation may be, we've got to get S-2598 passed. The bill returns bankruptcy rights to federal student loans that are more than 10 years old. It's not perfect because of the 10-year thing, but it's not bad. The bill is bipartisan. The bill has more Republican co-sponsors than Democratic right now, which is odd. And by the way, again, if you're new to the group, we are a fiercely non-partisan group, but we are a partisan-aware group. And right now, the whole loan cancellation topic has become a partisan Donnybrook or something, if you will, where the Republicans are against it, the Democrats say they're for it. But guys, I'm here to tell you, we've been around for 17 years now. We've seen all the nonsense. And I'm telling you right now that up to $10,000, up to $50,000 loan cancellation is meaningless. As hard as the Democrats are supposedly fighting for it, whatever, it's meaningless. Joe Biden could call a press conference tomorrow and say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cancel up to $50,000. He could say, I'm going to cancel up to $100,000. And at the end of the day, that would come to mean almost nothing for almost everyone. The Department of Education has no desire or intentions of actually canceling any loans. They never have, at least not in the 17 years that we've been looking very closely at them. They will bureaucratize whatever loan cancellation Joe Biden puts to them as long as the threat of bankruptcy remains gone, as it is right now. They will bureaucratize whatever loan cancellation is put to them to death. So it'll be like, because of means testing, you get nothing. You get $5,000. We couldn't verify your income, so you get nothing. You're in default, you get nothing. You didn't file your taxes, you get nothing. Oh, you get $13,000. Congratulations. It'll be like that. 17-year history of our very diligent research into this lending program confirms and verifies that 99%, over 99% of everyone who thought they were going to get their loans canceled through one repayment program or cancellation gimmick or another were disqualified out of that. And that continues today. My best estimate is that not even 1% of the people in IBR will ultimately make it through, if IBR even exists in a few years. And quite frankly, I don't think it will. Because maybe the most important thing I'll say tonight, not a policy thing, but just a fact that you need to be aware of. The federal student loan system is dying, guys. It's dead. It's in my view, it's dead. People should be talking about it in the past tense. Before the pandemic, most borrowers weren't even paying on their loans. The pandemic is the nail in the coffin, by the way. Now here during the pandemic, almost nobody's paying. And I would be stunned if even 15 or 20%, 20% is probably high. I would expect that not more than about 15% of the borrowers will ever resume paying on their loans again when and if they have the chutzpah to try and turn the lending program back on. The lending system is toast, guys. It's finished. So just remember that. It could have a good ending, could have a bad ending. We're fighting for the good ending. And the good ending isn't this $10,000, up to $50,000 nonsense. That's bullshit, guys. Pardon my French. It's bullshit. The good ending starts when we get the threat of bankruptcy returned, as the founding fathers called for. And then the Department of Education will be forced to cancel loans broadly, widespread, very meaningfully. Not going to happen unless and until we get the threat of bankruptcy back. And shame on the other student advocacy, so-called student advocacy groups out there who seem to not even, I haven't even heard them mention bankruptcy. And that's ridiculous. It lies at the core of this problem. Don't forget that. So, hey, if you have any questions, I'm going to try and keep it short tonight, but if you have any questions or comments, throw them out. And if I can see them on Facebook or Twitter, I will very gladly respond to them. So tonight, you know, I talked about the partisan food fight going on right now. There are so many lies being told against us all over the zeitgeist, all over the internet right now. Our opposition is freaked out and they are just throwing the kitchen sink at us right now. We expected it. Frankly, we love it. But we need your help to help smash these lies with the truth. And there are a lot of lies going on out there. And by the way, if I don't mention a particular lie that you've heard, throw it up. And the chances are we've probably written a paper that very quickly dispatches that lie. So first of all, let me say, if you look at that link right down there, oh, wait, it says get the shirt, but that's wrong. Right there. Yeah. bit.ly/SLJ links. Doesn't have anything to do with the shirt. Go there and you can see very quick links, easy to remember links that will allow you to quickly bring up all the lie squashing things that we have posted. So in other words, let's start with the number one lie that's being told right now. Canceling student loans will benefit the wealthy. That's the biggest lie being told right now. Completely nonsense. And if you go to that thing, bit.ly/SLJ links, near the top, you will see a paper linked entitled, Canceling Student Loans Will Not Benefit the Wealthy. And just so because I already know, it's bit.ly/won't help rich. Won't help the rich. Won't help rich. All one word. That's nonsense. Wealthy people, number one, do not get student loans. Number two, 70+% of these loans are held by the bottom 80% of earners. That's lower class, middle class. And even the upper 20%, we have some people who earn more than $100,000. They are not wealthy, by the way. Typically, they're people in their 50s who have seen their loans destroy their lives. They've seen their loans explode to ridiculous proportions, and they're not wealthy. And they should absolutely have their loans canceled. And I trot out my friend Vanjie all the time. I'm sorry, Vanjie, I have to do it. Vanjie originally borrowed $26,000. Vanjie has repaid $100,000 on this $26,000 loan. Vanjie still owes $132,000 on this loan. Is Vanjie wealthy? No. Vanjie needs to start saving for retirement. She's 50, I want to say 59 years old. Sorry if I'm wrong on that, but she's getting up there. She's getting on towards her retirement years. And this nonsense should be behind her. Canceling student loans will benefit her, but she is not wealthy. But our opposition would say that she is wealthy. That's all nonsense. 70% of student loans are owned by the 80% lowest income earners. Compare that to PPP loans. 75% of PPP loans were taken out by that top 20% income bracket, the $100,000 plus crowd. So comparing it to PPP loans, obviously canceling student loans won't benefit the wealthy. Are there going to be a few young people who don't need to get their loans canceled but do? Yeah, there will be. Were there a few people that got PPP loans that didn't need them? Yeah, there were very many of them. But all that doesn't matter. Canceling student loans will overwhelmingly largely benefit the unwealthy. So bit.ly/won't help rich. You can shove that in the face of every hater everywhere every time you come across that false claim. And by the way, that whole claim that 30% of the debt is held by the $100,000 plus income crowd, that claim in and of itself is dubious at best. That is based on voluntary Federal Reserve survey data. Now think about it for a minute. If you're struggling on your student loans and someone calls you and say, yeah, I'm with the Federal Reserve, I'd like to ask you about your debt, about your student debt. Are you going to be like, and who knows, you might think they're part of the federal government. They're kind of a quasi-governmental entity. Federal, is this federal? It sounds like government. Are you going to be inclined to be like, yeah, sure, I'd love to tell you about my student loans? Or are you going to be like, there's no one here by that name, click. You're probably going to do that second thing. You're going to be very disinclined to fill out a survey like that. So that Federal Reserve data is bad from the get-go. It skews higher just by the very nature of the survey itself. And I would say shame on people like Adam Looney, who wrote that survey, who authored the study trying to claim that canceling student loans will benefit the wealthy. That guy is a loser. And by the way, he's a plant from the Treasury. So I'm looking for your comments now, ladies and gentlemen. And if I can see them, I will gladly respond to them. So that's the first biggest lie that our opposition is telling right now. Second biggest lie right now, I would say probably, is that canceling student loans will cause inflation. Kind of has a nice ring to it. Like, oh, we can't cancel loans. It's going to hurt inflation. Well, here's the fact about inflation and student loans. Okay. We're currently running at 8.5% inflation. The cause of that inflation, most people would say, is supply logistics oriented. It's a gas shortage from Russia and all that stuff, jacking up the price of gas. And that undergirds almost everything. But forget about all that. Let's just look at the hard facts as it applies to canceling student loans. If every dime of student loans were canceled today, on paper, it would return something like $400 per month to the average borrower. And that's actually not even true, by the way, because more than half of all borrowers weren't even paying anything before the pandemic in the first place. So it would do nothing. It would have zero effect on their spending habits. But okay, let's assume for the sake of argument that everybody was paying. And now canceling student loans, everybody gets $400 extra in their pocket every month. Okay. Well, it turns out that the average household, 2.5 people, average typical household, their average monthly increase in expense due to the inflation we have seen is between $500 and $600 per month. So even if canceling all student loans actually did return $400 in folding spending money to every student loan borrower, and it won't, it's not even close to that. But if it did, that average borrower still wouldn't even be able to keep up with their monthly expenses because of the inflation that we've seen over the past 9 months. And oh, by the way, when the pandemic pause happened, did we see a huge spike in inflation in, say, April 2020? No, we did not. Inflation didn't start doing this until mid to late 2021, a full year and a half after the pandemic pause happened. So if we were going to see any inflation from canceling student loans, we would have seen it well prior to that when they paused payments. So again, if you have a hard time understanding all this right now, just remember, go to our thing, bit.ly, SLJ links. You will see a line that says canceling student loans will not cause inflation, and you can go there. And by the way, it's bit.ly/won't cause inflation. Pretty easy. So, so let me just see if I can get to your comments here right now as I'm looking. So, as I said, I'm going to try and keep it kind of short here tonight, guys.
Let me just see if I can get to your comments here.
Hey, Doug Grossman's with us tonight. Doug Grossman says, yes, and our group has been helping, just not enough of us. Yeah, you're right, Doug. Let me back up. We need your help, guys. We need your help. This group, there would not be a bankruptcy bill, but for the efforts of the people on this group. And we are the pioneers. I'm not kidding you. This group is way more important than you might think. In fact, this group is the reason that we're even talking about student loan cancellation by executive order right now in the news. We were the first group interviewed about the concept back in August 2019. We started the petition in March 2020 calling for it. And it wasn't until 6 months or so after we started that petition that Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer embraced the concept and called on then President Trump to cancel student loans by executive order. This group is kind of the shit. We're kind of a big deal, guys. I know it doesn't look like that, but truly, we are. And if we don't do anything, nothing gets done. That's just kind of the way it goes. So the most important action item I will say tonight, which Doug just alluded to, go to our website right there, our website. Do our daily actions. It's the most important thing you could possibly do. There is true strength in numbers. And we've got a massive, beefy Popeye muscle to flex. We've got over 1 million people in this group. Over 1 million on our petition, on our Facebook, on our all of our other platforms. Arguably, I could even say 10 million because of all the 7 or 8 million people that we have on our Giphy site, Giphy.com/student loan justice, but I'm not going to lay it on too thick. We've got over 1 million people on this group who should be helping. Yet on any given day, I only see a few thousand people doing anything. That's got to improve, guys. We will be buried by the bullshit in Washington, D.C. if you sit there and wait and watch and worry and read fucking Forbes magazine, which is disgusting. Speaking of lies and our opposition, our opposition wants you doing nothing. They want you sitting there, waiting, watching, worrying, wringing your hands, and walking around with your tail in between your legs. That's what they want you doing. Don't give them the pleasure. We need you here fighting with us. So if you forget everything I say tonight, go to our website and start doing our daily actions. You need a Twitter account. I hate Twitter. You hate Twitter. Twitter actually works. Get a Twitter account. 80% of our daily actions are on Twitter. Hey, Terry Dodd's with us tonight. Terry Dodd says, I meant student loans doesn't cause inflation or high gas prices. Right, exactly, Terry. This inflation started well before anything, and canceling student loans won't even allow the average student loan borrowing household to keep up with their monthly expenses, which is increasing by somewhere between $500 and $600 a month. So yeah, guys. Doug Grossman says, that's a good point, Doug. Doug says, I haven't seen too many under the age of 40. Doug says he has not seen too many of the under 40 crowd that are fighting because they haven't been affected yet. And how true that is. And let me back up for a minute. I should say, this is not a young person's issue. It really is not. You would think it would be, right? Like people say student loans and they think, oh, young 20-something kids living with their parents, blue-haired liberal snowflakes and all that. That's all nonsense. It's all, speaking of lies, that's all nonsense. This is not a younger person's problem. That is a lie. Older people outnumber younger people with student loans. They just do. People over 35 outnumber people under the age of 35 with student loans. People over the age of 50 outnumber people under the age of 25 with student loans. And on average, they owe 300% more, the older crowd. This is despite having borrowed far, far, far less in the 80s or 90s or maybe even 70s. This is not a younger person's issue. Again, if you go to our bit.ly, you'll see for yourself. And I'll just tell you, bit.ly/old more than young. You can throw that in the face of the haters and say, shame on you, young man. You can pull if you're of a certain age, you can pull the age card on them. Hey, Rob Trujillo says, thanks, Alan, you're awesome. Well, thanks, Rob. I don't know what I did to deserve that, but I appreciate the accolades, however undeserved. There are so many lies out there being told against us right now. I literally almost don't know where to begin. Another lie. Student loan borrowers are liberal. They're the Democratic elite. Number one, elites don't get student loans. But number two, Republicans and independents comprise over 50% of all student loan borrowers. In other words, most student loan borrowers are either Republican or independent. I kid you not. You don't believe me? Go to our bit.ly/SLJ links and you will see a thing that says what I just said. And so I'll tell you because I already know. It's bit.ly/most GOP. And you can see the data for yourself. So many lies and misconceptions out there. So I've just given you a taste tonight of a couple of the lies that are out there. I'm going to cut it short tonight, but this is an info war, guys. It's an informational battle. And right now, the bad guys, there's not many of them, but they're well resourced. Our opposition is freaking out right now. If you haven't read the news lately, the media against us is going about 9-1. So if you see 10 media pieces, 9 of them are geared against us. Hopefully I don't even have to tell you that. But what I will tell you is it is manufactured. It is artificial because the bad guys know what I know. And what I know is what I told you at the top of this broadcast. The student loan system is failed. It's not coming back. It's not going to happen. It's failed. It's a capital F failed. It's finished. It's FUBAR. What's another F word? It's fucked. Pardon my French. You should start talking about your student loans in the past tense. And in my humble opinion, and in many people on this group, in fact, in the majority of student loan borrowers, at least maybe not their opinion, but by their actions, even before the pandemic, you shouldn't pay on them. Don't throw your good money after more good money that you may have already thrown into this lending scam. It's not only unwise, I think it's unpatriotic. In fact, I know it's unpatriotic. In fact, I'm going to say shame on you if you ever pay another dollar on your federal student loans. Guys, lending systems fail from time to time. It's not our fault. We didn't break this lending system. This lending system tried to break us. It is a national threat. And by the way, it's hurting the red states way worse than the blue states. Conservatives, Republicans, libertarians, they should be on our side. And that will happen when we keep spreading the truth. That's all we've ever done on this group. We do very good research, very careful research, very diligent and thorough research. And we tell the truth. We need you to be our ambassador and help get the truth out. So have a look at that thing again. And I only told you like a small fraction of all the lies out there and of all the very quick, easy answers that you can put to the haters who are either misguided, misled, ignorant, or they're just fucking evil people. And they're literally making money off of this scam. And they are soulless, vicious, as I said, evil people. Whatever the case may be, they are easily I was going to say distinguished. They are easily extinguished with the truth and nothing more. You know, the bad guys, they scurry like cockroaches when the lights are turned on everywhere we go. Every stupid claim that they make is very easily refuted by usually there's like one or two papers I still need to write, but by and large, 90% of the criticisms against us are easily put down by those links. So please help. These are your loans. This is your problem, by the way. And our opposition wants you doing nothing. Please don't give them the pleasure. We need your help. There's true strength in numbers. And if even 10% of the people on our group were doing our daily actions every day, we would overwhelm the entire lending system and the loans would be gone before Christmas, hopefully by November. Hopefully by November 8th or whatever, whenever the midterm elections are. You have no idea how important you are. And that is the most serious thing that I will say tonight. So please do your part. Don't think that anybody else is going to pull your weight for you. That never happens. These are your loans. This is your battle. Should you choose to fight it or not, if you choose to not fight it, then leave. We don't want you on this group. But I would urge you and beg you to fight it because it's a fun battle to fight. We are on the right. We are on the correct side of this argument. We have the truth on our side. We have the founding fathers on our side. We've got 44 of the 45 million student loan borrowers in the country on our side. We've got hundreds of millions of people who are going to follow in our footsteps and don't deserve to be conquered and enslaved by this unconstitutionally, viciously predatory, nationally threatening debt. And there's a lot more hanging on this than you might think, guys. If they can do to other loans what they did to student loans, namely take away bankruptcy protections, they, meaning the bad guys, and they are out there, they do exist. It's not a conspiracy. These are real people that get paid a lot of money to keep this lending system alive. They would like nothing more than to expand their reach into other consumer debt areas, credit cards, medical debt. They would love to take bankruptcy away from everything if they can possibly do it. So this is the camel's nose under the tent, guys. There's a lot riding on whether we succeed or whether we fail. We need you helping with this. It's a battle very easily won, but only when you help. That's always been true. So get ready. It's going to be a make or break summer for us. We need you helping every day. By what? By doing our daily actions every day. We think very carefully about these daily actions. This week is just supremely important. So please play along. It's actually not a game. This is actually your livelihood on the table here. So, but it feels good. And I think everybody I see in the comments, Doug and Vanjie and everybody else, and Terry, and they will agree. This is a very cathartic battle to fight. It feels good. I feel free fighting this fight. And when you fight this fight and you have your first couple of wins, and they're very easily scored, by the way, you get your first couple of wins under your belt, you convince the first couple of people that, oh, I didn't know what I was talking about with the student loan thing. Shit, this thing is a monstrous, yeesh. Yeah, this lending system's got to go away. When you get your first couple of people to come around and look at the truth and come to the very same conclusion that any normal, rational, fair-minded person will come to when they see the data that is all contained right there, it will be empowering for you. Empowering. It's cathartic. I sleep like a baby at night. I would not want to be doing anything else every day than fighting this battle. And when you join us, we'll get there. It's just that simple. So take heart, guys. We got this. Don't think anybody else is going to pull your weight. We need you. Just get your hands dirty. Jump on in. The water is fine. Believe me, doing this 17 years now, armed with nothing more than the truth. And here we are on the brink, on the precipice of actual victory. So let's get over the top. Let's get this problem solved. And let's get these loans behind us so we can all move on with our lives in some semblance of freedom. And tell everyone you know about this group. Tell everyone you know about our petition, change.org/cancel student loans. And maybe the last thing I will say is, yeah, get a shirt, actually. We actually are selling shirts, but that's not the right link. If you go to bit.ly/SLJ shirt, and I'm just going to change that right now just because it's driving me bananas. If you go to bit.ly/SLJ shirt, go right there, SLJ shirt. I believe, and this is something Lisa Ansel is doing in Los Angeles. We appreciate it very much. We very rarely sell swag and merch and stuff like that, like once every few years. But we're doing this special limited edition run of student loan justice t-shirts. They're very expensive. I'm just going to tell you right now, they are. They're the highest quality. They're like Nordstrom or Saks Fifth Avenue quality t-shirts. They're beautiful t-shirts. I am told that we need to sell one more t-shirt in order to get the limited run actually printed and shipped. So please be the final, be the straw that broke the camel's back and finally got these t-shirts printed. All right, guys, I need to work on my salesman pitching efforts, skills. But yeah, guys, if you forget everything I said tonight, do our daily actions. Your actions are way more valuable than any shirt you might buy, any donation you might give, etc. Start there. It's fun. And if you haven't signed our petition, obviously sign our petition, change.org/cancel student loans. All right, guys, I will be back on Wednesday. Ed will be with you tomorrow. Get ready, guys. This summer is it. This is it. So be ready to spend 3 minutes a day or less, probably less, doing our daily actions. And if you do at least that much, we will get there. But do more than that, please. Spread the word. These are your loans. These are your problem. This is your problem. And we have a bunch of very smart, creative people on this group. And the daily actions are indeed the least that you could do. So, all right, guys, I'll see you on Wednesday. Ed will be here tomorrow. Good luck. Godspeed. God bless everyone.